All righty, we are live. This is Aliza Bloom Robinson, Transformational Catalyst, founder of the Center for Divine Awakening, which is a non-church, next generation spiritual boutique. I would love it if you are actually on Facebook. If you would just say hello, post a comment, and let us know where you're watching from. And while you do that, I'm going to see if I can do a share. Actually, right now I can't see how to share it. Let's see if we can share it. And some of you are live on Zoom. So I see Aliza is live on Facebook. So Aliza, you can go ahead and jump on over onto the Zoom call if you'd like to be part of the community conversation, and we will get going here in just a moment. We're just checking in. Taking a minute. There we go. There, I can share it. I'm going to share it into a couple of groups real quick. Share it as we are gathering our energies. We're gathering together. This is our weekly inspirational insight, followed by a community conversation. I've got it shared once. I know some of our regulars, Michaela is down for the night. Becky and Vivian are here. Aliza is here. She's going to be part of our new regular group. I think Nancy and Steve are flying from Miami back to Texas. I think they're up in the air right now. And some of our other regulars are probably likely watching the Super Bowl. Okay, almost, oops, hold on just a second. I'm almost done here. We are live now. Join us. Okay, so we are recording and we are live on Facebook. Let's take a breath together. And just take a moment to call our energy. And what I mean by that is calling our container, calling our sacred space. Oh, it's so funny. I've got you live on Zoom over here, and then I'm watching a recording of myself on Facebook. That's so weird. I'm delayed. That's so bizarre. Anyway, I'm going to have to turn that off. I can't see myself. That's funny. So just take a breath and land into this now moment. Take a breath and allow your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul come into your body, to come into this now moment. And right now, as we join together, there is nothing else to do. There is nothing else that needs grab our attention. Right now, in this now moment, we're giving ourselves this gift of being together in community, this gift of being a part of the Center for Divine Awakening, this gift of inspirational insight, followed by community conversation. With all of our energy gathered, mind included, we open our minds, we open our hearts to this now moment, and to each and every person who's watching, whether live on Facebook, live in Zoom, or on a recording. That this moment might touch your heart, might free your soul, and might transform your life. And so it is, and so it shall be. I'm going to mute those of you on the Zoom, just for the recording. All right, again, I am so honored to be here tonight. This is a part of our weekly inspirational insight. This is what we do, the Center for Divine Awakening, every Sunday evening at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, which is right about now, or a couple of minutes beyond that right now. The Center for Divine Awakening is a next generation, non-church, spiritual community without walls. Virtual is the way that we gather for the most part. Virtual is the way that we connect, heart to heart, mind to mind, soul to soul. And our connection is always with spirit, that which we call spirit, self, and soul. And sisters. And our sisters actually include the men. So sisterhood and friends and community. My stand in this life actually is for awakening. And what I know to be true is that as we awaken to the truth of who we are here to be, we come into a greater awareness of spiritual consciousness and a greater awareness and relationship to the essence of who we are here to be. And when we do that, everything changes. Everything changes in our awareness, in our thought pattern, in our beingness, and ultimately in the world. We stand at the Center for Divine Awakening for a world that works for all. And what that means is that we live in love, that we live in oneness, not just with our minds, but with our very beings. And when we live in oneness and when we live in love, we have a world that works for all. That means all people are loved, all people are equal, that there is no longer discrimination, there is no longer judgment, there is enough sufficiency for all people, for food, for health, for drinking water, for acceptance. And this stand is something that is in the very core of my being, and therefore we have these weekly inspirations. It is my dream, it is my idea, hopefully inspiration from spirit, that these moments go out into the world and go out virtually into the world. So I really love it and appreciate it when you share these videos. These Sunday nights are about 20 minutes long. Also have periodic inspirational or periodic Facebook Lives that are inspirational or provocative. Actually, we're moving from inspiration to provocative a little bit. And I would love for you to share this whenever you see them. And I also have a YouTube channel that is building. There's lots and lots of videos on it. Very few subscribers at this moment. That's okay. We'll build it with videos and then we'll open subscribers. So my topic for tonight is the choices we make. And I want to open that with a personal experience, a personal sharing. It's very close to my heart. It really impacted me actually earlier today. And we're going to follow that up with the natural consequences of the choices we make. And the choices that we make are simply choices. And so I want to preface it by just saying that the choices we make are simply choices. And every choice we make is a pebble in a pond, so that we'll have natural consequences. So a couple of weeks ago, my uncle died. He had been dealing with Alzheimer's for quite a few years, and he was pretty much non-responsive. So a couple of things about that. One really awesome, cool thing is that all of his kids had enough premonition, if you will, that he was not doing well, that all of his kids that were all across the state of Washington were able to get home and be with him that weekend. And they all got there on Saturday. There's 4 kids, and they're, like I said, all over across the state. And on that particular Saturday, they gathered together and did what they did, you know, loved him and blessed him and all of that. And he died in his sleep during the night. So when they woke up in the morning, he was gone. So what a blessing, right? What a blessing. And then my aunt, who's just, you know, beloved to me. She was always my favorite aunt, and she was the one that always had all the kids at her house, and she was the neighborhood that all the kids went to. And she said, well, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to do a service. We're not going to do anything at all. Oh, but all 4 of her kids and all 10 of her kids are going to be back for a particular weekend, and we're just going to honor him, and this is really for the grandkids, and that's fine, and that's great. And nobody's really invited, but, you know, if you want to come, that's fine, but there's no expectation. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden my brother decides to go. So it was just her kids, her 4 kids and her grandkids. So my brother decides to go. And then there's like, and my sister's thinking about it. My mom's already gone. My mom went right after my uncle died and spent time with her sister. Spent almost a week with her sister, and then she came home and we're back and forth. It's like, Mom, are you gonna go? No, I'm not gonna go. And she's like, are you gonna go? Aliza, you're gonna go? I'm like, no, I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go. And then my brother's going. And then all of a sudden my aunt opens up to all the other cousins. And it's like, oh man, now my sister's going. Now my brother's sister going, and my sister's going. And now my mom's going back. And I'm like, I can't go. I can't go. I'm like, okay, totally, I'm gonna go. I know this is a long story, but it has a point. And so I decided I wasn't going, and then I decided I absolutely have to go. And then I actually had VIP clients coming in from out of state to work with me yesterday afternoon, and they could change their schedule. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I would have had to change a class. It was just like, it was hard. And so I made peace with, okay, I can't go. I'm not going. I can't go. I'm choosing consciously. I'm not a victim to my life. And then this afternoon, earlier today, I get on the phone and we're on video call, and I'm with my sister, and I'm seeing my aunt and my mom and my brother and all my cousins and everybody who gathered for my uncle's day. And it broke my heart that I wasn't there. I wept. It blindsided me that I was so impacted by that video phone call. And I haven't seen most of my cousins for about 5 years. Because we gathered periodically. And it touched my heart so deeply. It knocked me down. And I called Rob, who happens to be out of town. And I'm like, I'm grieving. And he helped me remember why I made the choice I made. And why and how the choice I made impacts everything, right? Like nobody there is mad at me that I'm not there, right? Everybody understands. But none of that mattered in the moment where that grief touched me. When I'm looking, my sister's walking around all the rooms of this house. I haven't been in this house for years, unless they've been there for 40 years, 50 years, something like that. And seeing all these people I hadn't seen, and my direct cousins I'd seen 5 years ago, and I see them all on Facebook. But then the other cousins, the ones that I don't see, I'm like, oh my God. So I talk about tonight, because the truth is, anytime we make a choice, there is going to be an outcome from it. What I got to do today is feel the consequence of my choice. And once I move through my grief and I let myself cry and I let myself weep and I let myself go, what am I really grieving? I'm grieving my uncle's life for sure. I'm grieving being left out. I'm left out. I'm left out. I'm the one that didn't go, right? I'm feeling left out of my own family. I'm leaning into all of the things that came up to the decision. I'm leaning into what I'm really feeling inside. And all of that gave me the opportunity to get really more truthful and to feel the grief. I hadn't really felt the grief of my uncle's passing, because I really am one of those people that's like, I know life goes on, and I know it was a blessing in many ways. And I know he's in a better place, and I know we'll all get through it. But I got to really drop into that place, which gave me an opportunity to let my heart break open, which, many of us, we don't really like to have our hearts broken open. And yet what I teach and what I counsel and when I stand with people, I said, let your heart break open, because every single time your heart breaks, there's more room for love. There's more room for God. There's more room. Break. Today I was on the phone with my husband, and I was on the phone with my sister, and I got to see my aunt and talk to her and all my cousins, and I got to be a part of, even though I'm thousands of miles away. And leaning into that sort of leaning in and coming from another direction. When my son was young, when my son was a teen, we did a lot of work. He was a troubled child. Let me just say that. I love him dearly, and he's a healthy, stable, functional adult right now. But when he was a teenager, he was tough. He was tough. My heart broke around things around him day after day after day after day for years, really. And I came into a program called Tough Love and really learned. I'd already been a minister for years. I'd already been in New Thought for years. I mean, I had lots of this under my belt, but to experience it. And what I had to do with him was natural consequences. And that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes that's a real positive thing. And so what I got to lean into this afternoon, and when in my own grief, which was as much about the choice that I had made as it was anything else, I got to look at just, again, the choices. And so when we choose to be love, and we choose to be kind, and we choose to be compassionate, our life goes one direction. And if we choose to be judgmental, or we choose a choice that doesn't look like it's for our highest good, we just get to feel. We just get to feel what comes, and that's not a bad thing. Sucks often, but it's not a bad thing, because every time we make a choice, it leads us towards what we want or towards what we don't want. Every time we know more what we don't want, we know more what we do want. So what I want to offer you today is look at the choices that you made today. Look at the choice to be here now. Look at the choice that you made from early morning all the way up till now. Look at the choices that you're making this past week. And ask yourself, am I getting the results I want? If you are, yay, 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 you go, awesome. And if you're not, be gentle with yourself and dive into it. Why did I make the choice I made? Well, here's my reasons. And they're very justifiable, right? And they're very logical, and they're really probably even soul-directed at some level. Look at the choices you're making and drop underneath. Why did I make that choice? Did I make that choice consciously? Or did I make it as a reaction to something I'm trying to avoid? Or did I make it as a reaction to something that's coming up in my life? And there's no judgment here, right? There's not even any judgment on the choice I made. I did plenty of self-judgment earlier today, but I also, burned through that. But there's no judgment. Is your choice, are your choices moving you in the direction you want to move? That's the question. If so, fabulous. If not, make a different choice. You can make a different choice now, and now, and now, and now. But there is nothing that you can do about what's going on outside of you except take care of your own reactions, take care of your own choices. And so I implore you today to make a choice to be gentle with yourself. To be gentle with yourself, to be kind to yourself, no matter what's happening, right? No matter what's happening, no matter the choices you made up until now. Be kind, be loving, be gracious, and if necessary, make another choice, not in the past, but right now, and right now, and right now, and right now. Because every single choice that you make will have a consequence. The question is, are your consequences moving you in the direction of where you want to be? Or are your consequences moving you away from where you want to be? So take a breath and make a choice for love. Make a choice to love yourself. make a choice to move into gratitude, to move into appreciation. I can even move into gratitude and appreciation for the experience I had today. It so blindsided me. I didn't expect it actually at all. And it blindsided me, but what it moved me into was a deeper appreciation of the patterns, of the conscious choices, and into deep, deep, deep appreciation and so much love for my family that is gathered together today. And I made the choice to be present to them. It was through video, and that's not perfect, and it was there. I was there. I was there with them. And had I not had that experience, I might have forgot. I might have been busy all day. I might have chosen differently. But right now in this moment, I feel heart connected. I feel so appreciative to my uncle and to my aunt and to my mom and to my cousins and to all the people who are part of those moments together today. I feel so appreciative that I have this community of people to be able to process this through. I don't think I said that quite right, but I just have such a deeper, more tender compassion and love for the people who are in my world than I did even this morning when I woke up. And so I just want to say that you are loved, that you are love, and that it doesn't matter lead you in the direction you want to be, that you can change your mind anytime you want. But first and foremost, love yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle to yourself. And practice the awareness of the consciousness and the consequences of your choice. And then choose again. And choose again. And choose again. I'm Aliza Bloom Robinson, Transformational Catalyst, founder of the Virtual Center for Divine Awakening, a non-church, next generation spiritual boutique. If you are on Facebook Live, I would love for you to bounce into the Zoom. I see Alisa's going the Zoom link. Yep, look above, Alisa, if you're still with us, up in the comments. The Zoom link is there on my page, so I would love to have you join us over for a community conversation about what we just shared. I just want to mention that we have a sacred spiritual Sedona retreat coming up in April, and working on the flyer. I got the flyer, the draft of the flyer up today. If you want information about that, just comment below. Yes, let me have the information about the retreat, and then we'll be sure and get that to you, and it will be published within, hopefully tomorrow, but certainly within the next couple of days, and I'll be sure and post that everywhere. So again, if you were on Facebook Live, so much love. Please your friends. We're here every single Sunday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, live on Facebook, and jump on over onto the Zoom conversation where we follow up with a community conversation. So I will see you again real soon. Bye-bye, everyone. And Zoom, I'll be right back. I can't find how to get Facebook Live off. Oh, that's funny. There we are.